What up, YouTube? I have been uploading. Today I'm going to be talking about concert stories, and because I just recently went to a concert, maybe a couple weeks ago. You could see my shirt. Went to the big Slayer tour with tours with Slayer and Slayer, Behemoth, and Anthrax, Testament, and Lamb of God. It was probably one of the best shows I've ever went to. It did not top the one that I'm going to talk about later. There wasn't really... Yeah, there was some mosh pits on the lawn, which was pretty cool. Watching people fling mud around everywhere. I've gotten into a few pits. I'm going to talk about some pits, man. I'll talk about some pits. I'll talk about some shows I've went to, and just elaborate on that. First show, I'll talk about my first concert ever. It was March 2017. A band named Dope. I went to see them at my local place. It was pretty chaotic. People flinging beer in the air, which was pretty weird for a concert. I thought it was normal, but it turns out it wasn't normal that people were flinging beer in the air, and everybody was moshing and falling down, getting covered in beer. It was like a beer fest. Like, it was completely just... The room was just full of beer. It was like a lake. It was literally just a lake of everybody just throwing their beers, dropping their beers, everything. It was just... I came home smelling like a brewery after that show. Probably one of my favorite shows ever, but I really do want to see them again. And I will be seeing another band later this year named Napalm Death at that local venue, which I'm so excited about. That band is so awesome. Second show I ever went to was a Megadeth show in my local area, one of the bigger venues. I got seats way up at the top because I like when I get concerts at big venues, I like to be right at the top, so I'm away from the pit, away from the downwards, so you don't have to look over people's heads and everything. You get a great view of the band from the top. It's like the best place to go. If like they're cheap ass seats, way up the top, I could see perfectly fine. Those seats are usually the best seats in the whole house. The down low seat should be the one that's not that expensive because it's hard to see. So yeah, I got that. This video is going to be kind of long, by the way. They played their sets. It was a normal show. There's people complimenting me on my shirt and everything else because I didn't have my vest then. And that brings me to the third show that I've ever went to was a Motionless in White show. I'll never go to see that band again. It was probably the worst show ever. Not because of the band, because of the fans. You know how many times I got punched in the face in the mosh pit because these people don't know how to mosh in that show. So, people that go to see those kind of shows do not know how to mosh usually. You get people that are quite assholes at those shows. So yeah. Nothing else to say about that show, but the next show I went to after that, I went to a Korn show before that. Korn, it was okay. It wasn't the best show ever. They played a good set, by the way. Then Motionless in White, and then I went to a band called Cattle Decapitation about a month later after that. It's probably one of the best shows I've ever went to. Like, it was one of the greatest live bands ever is Cattle Decapitation. They could play their sets good. They only play stuff off the 2 newest albums ever. They play the 2 newest albums. Which, that's okay. I like their 2 newest ones, but yeah, I have a copy of Anthropocene Extinction, which is one of them they played, so. Next show. Let's talk about the pits on that one. I always talk about the mosh pits. Well, else to say, but the pits were pretty crazy. The lead singer spits into the crowd, which is pretty cool, but I wasn't nowhere near the crowd. I was up by the staircase. Like, there, we were allowed to lean on the staircase. Like, lean on the staircase, that's what we did. Me and my friend, we leaned on the staircase because we don't want to get nowhere near the pit. That brings us to the CKY show I went to. I love that band so much. That band's so good. We sat in the back, way back, away from the pit at all. And yeah, it was a great show. There was a few mosh pits or stage dives. There was almost everything. It was not a very packed show either. It was more of a smaller show. And that brings us to my favorite show ever, which happened last year, December. I think it was November. Cannibal Corpse at my local show. Oh, that was one of the best shows ever. The mosh pit was absolutely chaotic. It was huge. There was a wall. I think there was even a wall of death, if I'm not mistaken. Or that might be another show. It's either the cattle decapitation show or the Cannibal Corpse show that there was a wall of death. I think it was when Scourge of Iron came on. They did the wall of death. They spread the crowd out and they went towards each other. Some dude got kicked out of that show for wearing football cleats to it, which, if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't know. I actually got stepped on by those, and they really fucking hurt. And I think they beat that guy's ass in the show, but yeah, that was kind of cool. They go to the show. I couldn't move my neck at all. I think I made it. I think I popped it out of place for a few days after that, which expected to at a Cannibal Corpse show. Because George Fisher's, he headbangs a lot. Everybody was trying to outdo him, but nobody could do that. Yeah, so that's the Cannibal Corpse show, one of my favorite shows ever. That brings us to Judas Priest next year, the 2018 Judas Priest shows. Pretty cool venue. We're up in the seats way up there again. Got up in the seats. And it was a pretty good show. They played a lot of stuff from Firepower, which I love that album. Man, nothing else to say about that show. But that brings us to the show of Slayer, and that this is the one that it was my second favorite show ever. Like, it was the second favorite. Cannibal Corpse is still my favorite show that I've ever went to, but this one, Behemoth was playing. I got to see Behemoth live. What else to say about that show? I was up in the seats again. I was in the seat area in the pavilion. And I was at my least favorite venue ever. They're overpriced as hell. So yeah, that's all. That's all. I haven't been to any shows where something wild has happened. Like I never met a band. I know a lot of people stay after, but I can't really, because a lot of people are in a rush that I go with. We gotta get out of here. I gotta go to bed. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. It's like ridiculous. Like, come on, let me meet the band. Nope. So yeah, I go to shows to watch the band, watch bands, listen to music, find people that enjoy what I like. So yeah, I'll be going to the Napalm Death show and the Arch Enemy show, which that's gonna be cool. Napalm Death is playing, I don't know what they're playing with, but Arch Enemy's playing with Goatwhore, which I'm so excited about that band too being there. So yeah, peace, stay metal, and I'll be back with an album review later.